Imagine life without smartphones, electric cars, or advanced fighter jets. That's a world without rare earth elements. These 17 metals aren't truly rare, but they're tough to mine and process cleanly. Their unique properties make them essential for modern technology, hidden in devices we use every day. Rare earths are the backbone of the green revolution. Wind turbines, electric vehicles, and even MRI machines rely on them. Without neodymium and dysprosium, clean energy and miniaturized tech would stall. Their reach extends from medical devices to the tiny motors in your phone. But rare earths are also a story of global power. China controls over 80% of the world's refining capacity, giving it immense leverage. This dominance lets Beijing set prices and restrict supply, making Western governments nervous. The US, once a leader with the Mountain Pass mine, lost ground due to stricter regulations and cheaper Chinese exports. Now, the West faces a critical vulnerability: dependence on a strategic rival for materials vital to everything from consumer tech to defense. This wasn't accidental. China invested heavily, accepting environmental costs others wouldn't. Today, rare earths are at the center of a new global competition. The invisible elements powering our world are now a visible front line. As demand grows, so does the urgency to secure these resources. The race is on to break free from this dependency. The stakes, the future of technology, energy, and national security. Rare earths are no longer just hidden ingredients, they're the new battleground. The US-China trade war has always been about more than tariffs. It's a battle for technological dominance. Rare earths are a powerful bargaining chip for China, and a major vulnerability for the US. The Pentagon relies on these materials for advanced weapons, making any supply threat a national security crisis. Former President Trump is back in the headlines, calling out America's reliance on Chinese rare earths. His approach, direct, disruptive, and focused on economic pressure. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed the fragility of global supply chains, making self-reliance a top priority. Now, rare earths are at the center of a high-stakes showdown. The debate has shifted from cost to security. The US is being forced to confront a dependency it can no longer ignore. The lesson: relying on a single country for critical goods is a risk. The new front in the trade war is about more than economics. It's about strategic independence. As tensions rise, rare earths move from the shadows to the spotlight. The world is watching as the US scrambles to secure its supply. The outcome will shape the future of global technology and defense. The stakes have never been higher. Rare earths are now the center of a global power struggle. Trump's latest move? A proposed 200% tariff on all rare earths and magnets from China. This isn't just tough talk. It's a direct attempt to break US dependence overnight. Prices would triple, forcing American companies to scramble for alternatives. The goal: bring rare earth production back home, no matter the short-term pain. Supporters see this as a necessary step to restore US industry and security. Critics warn it's a blunt tool that could disrupt the global economy. The timing is no accident. Global tensions are high, and the world is still recovering from the pandemic. Every company using rare earths would have to rethink its supply chain immediately. The message: the US is willing to endure pain to break free from China's grip. This high-risk, high-reward strategy could reshape global trade and technology. Allies and adversaries alike are watching closely. The tariff shockwave is just beginning. A 200% tariff would hit consumers and companies hard. Electronics, cars, and green tech would all get more expensive. Tech giants like Apple and Tesla would face soaring costs, likely passing them on to buyers. The defense industry, a major rare earth consumer, would see budgets stretched and production delayed. If China retaliates by cutting supply, US military hardware could grind to a halt. The green energy sector would also suffer, slowing the shift to renewables. The policy meant to secure the future could jeopardize it in other ways. Real-world impacts would be immediate. Manufacturers could go bankrupt, families might delay buying electric cars, and clean energy projects could stall. The tariff isn't just an economic number, it's a decision with real winners and losers. The ripple effects would reshape industries and lives. The stakes are personal, not just political. A 200% tariff would send shockwaves through global supply chains. Companies built on cheap Chinese rare earths would scramble for alternatives, but there aren't many. New mines take years and billions to develop, and face tough regulations. Countries like Australia and Canada would see a surge in investment, but the transition would be slow and costly. In the meantime, shortages would cause production bottlenecks across industries. A two-tiered market would emerge: cheaper Chinese rare earths for some, expensive alternatives for others. US companies could be left at a disadvantage, isolated from global competition. The era of prioritizing cost is over. Resilience is the new buzzword. Companies and governments would focus on diversifying sources, even at higher costs. New alliances could form around secure access to critical materials. The tariff would accelerate a global realignment already underway. The world's supply chains are now on a knife's edge. In the US, the tariff debate is fierce. Supporters argue it's a painful but necessary step to regain industrial independence and national security. They believe it will finally spark investment in American rare earth production. Critics warn it's a sledgehammer approach that could devastate tech and green energy sectors. They call for strategic investment and international cooperation instead of isolation. In China, officials condemn the tariff as protectionism and a violation of trade rules. They vow to defend their interests and warn of global market disruption. Behind the scenes, Chinese strategists see both threat and opportunity. The tariff could push China to move up the value chain, exporting more finished products. While the US faces high costs, China could strengthen ties with other nations. Both sides are recalibrating their strategies for a new era of competition. The rare earths battle is about more than minerals. It's about who will lead the next technological age. The world is watching as the two giants face off. The future after a 200% tariff is uncertain. One path: a damaging trade war, with China restricting exports and global tech grinding to a halt. Another, a global push for diversification with new alliances and massive investment in non-Chinese rare earths. The US must pair tariffs with aggressive support for domestic industry, streamlining permits, funding research, and working with allies. Relying on tariffs alone isn't enough. A robust industrial strategy is essential. China, meanwhile, will focus on exporting high-value finished products and building new trade partnerships. The rare earth showdown is just one chapter in a longer story of global competition. The choices made now will shape technology, security, and the economy for decades. The world is at a crossroads. The race for rare earths is on. The outcome will define the next era of innovation and power.